Well, he is a cruel criminal and mentally unstable man. And Duty to Warn was a book that came out when he was first in office. Psychiatrists across the country who don't ever really diagnose people that they don't serve personally came together and made a book, Duty to Warn, to tell the world what a narcissistic, mentally ill person he is. And I think he's the worst thing that ever happened to the United States.
Rosie O'Donnell isn't just roasting Donald Trump. She's incinerating him like a clearance rack Trump steaks commercial gone wrong. This is more than comedy. It's a flamethrower fueled by truth, timing, and pure disdain. From his spray-tan sorcery to his brain cell hostage crisis, Rosie leaves nothing standing. Strap in. Compared to this, a nuclear meltdown feels like a romantic dinner by candlelight.
Anything and everything to get what he wants, and women are of no value to him in his life or world. The only one who is, I think, is his daughter. That's it. The rest of the women in the world are useless as the immigrants that he says are coming from, Honduras to take us in caravans. Watch out for the caravan. There are people walking away from certain death in third world countries, right? The man doesn't care at all. So what he did to Stormy Daniels was...
Donald Trump waking up to Rosie O'Donnell roasting him is like a marshmallow realizing it's already on fire, sticky, chaotic, and way too late to escape. When Rosie attacks, she doesn't just bring smoke, she torches the whole kitchen with sarcasm, firepower, and a blowtorch of mockery. Trump thought he could walk in golden, but nope, he's coming out scorched, crispy, and utterly confused.
Donald Trump is doing is trying to become an authoritarian, a dictator, and he is the worst thing that ever happened to this nation. And I totally disagree with you saying that he didn't have anything to do with the insurrection, that he didn't instigate it, plan it, demand it of his fans.
Me, in 2006, when he was just a embarrassment in New York, nobody respected him in any way. Forbes never would put him on the richest people list because they couldn't verify his income because he was often broke. He's a con man.
Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Now, let's be clear, Rosie O'Donnell didn't need charts or stats to obliterate Donald Trump. She did it with something far more dangerous: reality. That little thing he's been ducking since the 1980s like it's gluten on an imaginary diet. While Trump builds fantasy walls, Rosie bulldozes his ego like it's condemned property held together by spray-tan fumes and bankruptcy papers.
Watching this moron speak, can he form a coherent sentence? He is the worst thing that ever happened, period. And he's just babbling like an incoherent... He's like Dr. Doom. He's the worst thing. Oh, you know what? He just lies. I am done with Donald Trump. Let's be done.
Donald Trump has the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a china shop and the depth of a kiddie pool filled with expired orange juice. Yet somehow, he thought he could outsass Rosie O'Donnell. That's like challenging a tornado to a game of wind. She didn't even need to try. His nonsense collapsed on itself, like one of his reality shows canceled mid-season. Which, let's be honest, is the destiny of anything carrying his name these days.
America are afraid of him. They're afraid to stand up to him, against him, because, and when I did on The View in 2006, I remember Joy Behar saying, "You're not going to say that out there," because he had a press conference right before we were live where he had a teenager, Tara O'Connor, who was Miss Teen USA. She had kissed a girl in the Village, and they took a picture and put it on all the newspapers. And he made her do a press conference where she apologized. And it looked to me like a pimp and a prostitute. And I said that on the air. And then I proceeded to list facts, not hyperbole, just facts about who he was and what he did. Bankrupt all these times, money from his father, not a self-made man, can't quantify his riches on Forbes magazine.
While Trump is busy trying to trademark his delusions, Rosie is busy tossing his entire circus into the compost bin of washed-up has-beens. Her receipts are longer than the Mueller report, and her sass is sharper than Ivanka's glare when someone dares to mention actual work. Trump struts into every room like he's the star of a movie nobody wanted, but Rosie flips the script and turns him into the blooper reel, raw, ridiculous, and hilariously unwatchable.
How do you think America has changed in the months since he's been elected?
Well, if you talk to any Americans, they're all in shock, or at least the ones that I know. I will have to say I don't really have many people in my life that support him. I don't really understand how people could support a convicted felon and a man who has had so many charges against him and has the moral compass of a teen.
You could almost hear Trump's ego shrivel like a raisin in the sun as Rosie painted him less like a villain and more like a clown who lost his own circus. This is the guy who bragged he only hires the best, yet his administration played out like a soap opera starring gold-plated incompetence. Rosie carved through that chaos like a roast chicken at Sunday dinner, methodical, merciless, and with a knife forged from sarcasm. Trump's idea of leadership was Monopoly cosplay, convinced he could run Wall Street after bankrupting Boardwalk. Meanwhile, Rosie's the narrator reminding everyone he lost all his properties 6 turns ago. This is a man who couldn't run a lemonade stand without declaring it a national emergency, who thought handling a pandemic was like running a pizza chain. Slap on a slogan and hope nobody notices the toxic ingredients. Rosie didn't even need a mic to shred that delusion. Her shade is renewable energy, effortless, sustainable, and fatal to Trump's paper-thin legacy.
Can't take away someone's citizenship. They have to renounce it themselves in the Constitution. So, I'm not that worried. However, the Supreme Court has given him unbridled powers. And I believe that his dementia forces him to think that he actually is a king. And we don't have kings in America. It's why we started America, not wanting to have kings. No monarchy. Liberty and justice for all. For all people.
Watching Rosie dismantle Trump is like watching a cat topple a stack of plastic cups, elegant, inevitable, and hilarious. Trump puffs his chest like a peacock with a comb over, but Rosie just stares at his reheated rhetoric like it's bad dinner theater and demands her money back. The real joke. Trump still thinks he's winning, like a game show contestant buzzing in wrong every round and blaming the buzzer. Rosie is the audience member holding a giant sign, "This is embarrassing, even for cable access." While Trump measures success in hijacked headlines, Rosie measures it in laughs, and with him, the supply is endless. He's a human blooper reel with a red tie and fragile ego. Every word out of his mouth is a cell phone wrapped in hairspray. Rosie doesn't even need to force the punchlines. Trump writes them himself. All she does is string them together into a mixtape of mockery.
Hair loop and going, everyone deserves a second chance. And I'm gonna give her a second chance.
Her hair is perfect for that. Your hair is perfect for that.
Listen, he annoys me on a multitude of levels. He's the moral authority. Left the first wife, had an affair. Left the second wife, had an affair. Had kids both time, but he's the moral compass for 20-year-olds in America. That'll sit and spin, my friend.
Trump does daily gymnastics in logic, gold medal in mental backflips, contradictions mid-sentence, and then blaming the teleprompter for being too honest. Rosie's answer? A long, exhausted stare followed by a mic drop powerful enough to rattle Mar-a-Lago. This is the same guy who called himself Law and Order, while looking like a lost retiree who wandered into a protest in search of the buffet line. Rosie didn't need punchlines, just a mirror. The crowd did the rest. Trump branded lies as alternative facts and expected applause. That's like burning down your kitchen and calling it modern art. Rosie sliced through it with the precision of a samurai on a vendetta. While Trump faked expertise like a toddler in a toy cockpit, Rosie was already landing the plane.
You have a message of what you want to happen with this president.
Well, I think most of America wants him to be out, although you can't tell that from reading some of the, watching Fox News or whatnot, which is just like state-run TV in Russia at this point. So all we have to do is encourage people to show up, to protest, to use their voice to say.
Remember Trump's Twitter tantrums? Each 280-character meltdown read like it was scribbled in crayon by a caffeinated toddler. Rosie doesn't even need to parody them. She could just read them aloud and win a comedy special. Trump tweets like a bot programmed by chaos gremlins, and Rosie's the firewall armed with sarcasm and common sense. His entourage, a rejected reality show cast called America's Got Delusions, conspiracy theorists, sycophants, and anyone allergic to critical thinking. Rosie's the alarm clock in Trump's fever dream, snapping him back with, "You've got to be kidding me." She isn't just throwing shade, she is the shade tree towering over his sunburnt ego. While everyone else pretends the emperor's golf pants are couture, Rosie's in the back asking, "Corduroy? In July?"
It's very depressing. And it seems very strange to me that the President of the United States has so many friends who are...
When Trump tried to reboot his reality TV glow, turning the White House into a season finale cliffhanger where democracy nearly got voted off the island, Rosie had front row seats, popcorn in hand, watching the wreck with the calm of someone who knew. Trump stacked lies and ego like a Lego tower, and Rosie quietly swapped the foundation for facts until it all collapsed. And she didn't even charge admission. His taste. Somewhere between bad casino lobby and gold-plated fever dream. He's a narcissist with a bedazzler, gold toilets, ego fountains, and rugs that probably spell "you're fired" in rhinestones. Rosie just steps in, squints once, and laughs so hard she nearly gives herself a hernia.
Proud to be opposed to everything about him and all of his antics and all of his racist and misogynistic ways. I am very proud to stand polar opposite of him and say, I deny everything he is, and I won't serve the dark. I will only serve the light. It's dangerous to the world that he's doing what he's doing now.
What do you make of the health bulletin that was released overnight, that he's suffering from this venous insufficiency, which has led to swelling of the ankles and some marks on his hand and a complexion that looks pretty ghastly?
Well, that's a spray tan. That's a choice.
No, but it's when the way it frays around the eyes and all of that.
Yes. Yeah, well, he doesn't look well. He's not a healthy man, and I think it's very funny, and he lives in a deluded reality where he's believed.
The Trump brand isn't success, it's collapse repackaged as strategy. Bankruptcy with a bow tie, spray tan dipped in slogans. His only consistency? Desperation not to get exposed. And that's where Rosie comes in. With sarcasm as a spotlight, she forces the actor to forget his lines, his logic, and his dignity. Housing crisis. Best numbers ever. Global ridicule. Tremendous ratings. It's like watching a car crash into a tree, then hearing, "But did you see how well the horn works?" Rosie doesn't argue. She just holds up the receipts, sets them on fire, and roasts marshmallows over the ashes, sipping iced irony from a mug that reads, "I told you so."